Water rights and food production center stage again. California cutting off the water to cattle ranchers. Texas eminent domain scraping farm fields to fill it up for AI data centers. Seems like humans are being phased out, at least what we need to stay alive. Where's our food supply going? And what's this battle for water? Starting off here, Potter Valley, California. Ranchers say PG&E cut water without warning amid dam removal fight. So what is happening is the excuse, the Scott Dam, which forms Lake Pillsbury, is part of the Potter Valley project managed by PG&E. They're going to decommission the project or tear down the dam to save a fish. Now, they didn't tell anybody that they were going to run a bunch of water, not hold it high enough, so they're worried about earthquakes. So they want to lower the dam, but then that's where the water comes from further downstream for all these ranchers. And now they're saying, whoa, we don't have enough water. You got to ration your water. And this will reduce the limits, the amount of water that cattle ranchers are able to have. So I called out and talked to a ranching family, the Eccles, right in the middle of Potter Valley here. They were saying that the reduction was not told to them in advance. And this Lake Valley project, California suddenly wants to do away with this dam. So they're not filling it up and the reservoir is only being refilled by snowpack. So the only time they're going to get water now is in the rainy season. That's it. The dams are meant to keep a very minimal level. There's going to be no more water for up to 8 months of the year. So how's this going to work? So originally the canal flowing out was always at 19 acre feet. Right now they reduced that down to 10 acre feet. So people are waiting in line where there's not enough water now. It's about half of what it was. So the pressure's not there for the head pressure to irrigate anyway. And the sluices, the sluice gates where you can steel plates and then you can redivert the water down different canal systems. People are waiting in line right now because there's not enough water and there's not enough water pressure. So farmers are having to actually wait, and cattle ranchers are going to wait for 3 days, 4 days, whatever amount of days so they can get their water, which is unusual. And it's talking about East-West Road. And the prices in 1992 were $4 an acre foot. Today in 2025, it's $35 per acre foot. So we can see the same thing. It's a battle for the food production. The reduction of water is, I believe, it's a plan. So here we are, the Potter Valley project on the map there, Scott Dam. And you can see the Eel River coming in there, Lake Pillsbury. Cutting off the water without warning just 2 months before harvest. Now, this is a psychopath move here. You need to finish those crops off. You know, they're coming into the full maturation when they need a lot of water. If you look at any types of crops being grown, that last 1 to 2 months when they're really uptaking water to put on kernel size or, you know, seed size, head size, whatever you like to call that, you need water to do that so they can really, you know, get enlarged. But here they're going to crush the I guess the sale value of that. But again, that's a plan. If you're going to try to crush cattle ranching, you need to remove the water. Lake Mendocino virtually has no ability to recharge in the summer without snowpack flows and storage kept behind Scott Dam. Again, they're saying that this dam is interfering with some salmon fishery and that they're worried about it cracking in earthquakes. Okay, this thing's been around for years. Now they're just today worried about it cracking earthquakes. Oh no, we can't have the water. So they're going to reduce that to about 50% of the level you see here. That means that they're going to keep it at just a base level so it can continually run through, and they're not going to store water. It's basically the same flow rate out is what the flow rate is. They're going to try to equalize that, which means those farmers downstream, they don't have enough water. They're not going to get water. A recent clinical trial found that participants using just 10 grams of collagen a day for 8 weeks saw up to a 20% increase in skin hydration and a 17% improvement in elasticity while visibly reducing their wrinkle depth. If you're aiming to boost skin health, collagen is a must-have, but typical collagen supplements found on store shelves don't always do the job. This is why I use this special blend of collagen. It provides my skin with 5 types of premium collagen it needs to reduce wrinkles, providing smoother skin, more elasticity, fewer lines, and a more youthful glow. Plus, it mixes smoothly with my morning coffee or tea. Make sure to grab a bag while it's still 51% off only at healthwithadapt2030.com. Plus, you'll also get the free ebook titled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, free shipping with your order. Once again, that website is healthwithadapt2030.com, or click on that link in the description box below. So PG&E, or Pacific Gas and Electric, depleted Lake Pillsbury. They actually let that thing come all the way down and they didn't tell anybody. So what's going to happen with the rural farmers and ranchers? Well, they're going to be bankrupted, or at least tremendously damaged economically if they're not able to continue with water. And, you know, talking to Miss Eckel over there, she put me on another story as well, which we'll come to, but they're going to even lose their ability to produce hay and even have grazing areas. Now, this, in my opinion, is on purpose. You look at this. These families have been here for 166 years. And just today they're saying, oh, no, there are no more water rights for you. We're just going to decide. So the government taketh away. This is illegal at best, purposeful destruction of our food supply at worst. And this is what seems to be happening across the United States in so many places right now. So what's going to happen here? I wanted to bring it to your attention. Please, if you know anybody in California, knock on the door, give them a call, tell them what's happening, especially the politicians. If you know anybody in Washington, you need to tell them what's going on here. You cannot take out hundreds and hundreds of cattle ranchers and farmers just on a whim because they want to stop food production. There's a copy-paste MO going across the United States. It needs to stop. And the only way it does is by citizens coming together and those persons telling other persons, and eventually there's enough scuttlebutt around where they're like, well, it needs to stop. So if you could please do me a favor and pass this message along that these farmers and ranchers are in danger because their water has cut off. They're not being replenished. And from this point forward, we're going to watch another segment of food supply disappear. And this comes right into our devaluing dollar. So if you look at $1 purchasing power since the Federal Reserve started, and then we had World War I, of course, 1930. I'm not going to even say that's true. I think it was less than $1 by 1930. It was less than $1, I know, by 1917. And then after World War I had completed, it already devalued a little bit, but their mark on, okay, I'll say $1 in 1930. But I will split the hair on that one. So from 1992, they were paying $4 an acre foot. So an acre foot is the size of an acre, a foot deep of water. So that much water would have cost you $4. Far cheaper than we get out here, especially if you're paying on a municipal tap and you got a meter on it. You're not getting an acre foot for $4. But 2025, $35 an acre foot. So you see the inflation's happening everywhere. It's not just on the food prices itself. Because we saw ground beef went to an all-time record high at $9.26, according to the USDA's wholesale. And we're seeing all these $9 plus price tags for ground beef across the U.S. And now they're going to actually cut out cattle further on purpose. It's a plan for me at this point. Nothing's organic, no pun intended on the farming techniques, but this is a plan, pure and simple, to remove our food supply. Because remember, you control the food, you control the people. And as Miss Eckel was saying, you control the water, you control the food. You control the water, you control the food. Now you control the food, you control the people. So we're another step removed there. So they're back at the controlling the water to control food production. Beware, and just, again, you know, take a look at your local farmers. Now, when I said, you know, these families have been here since 1860s, 1870s, you go back 160 years, you know, that's quite a bit of time to be somewhere and then suddenly come, oh, well, it's not valid today. So these are the canals, and this is from the Bureau of Reclamation, bringing us back to Klamath River here. But you can see how old some of these canals are. I mean, look how ancient these photos are. And this is what the story I was put onto. The hay production in this area also was completely wiped out. So the water battle in this area and the Klamath River for the Klamath farmers, just up from where the cattle ranchers are having their problem with Pillsbury Lake. They'd reduce the water availability so nobody could farm hay. And then the hay goes to what? To animals. So they're trying to cut the chain everywhere that there can be food production, another step back, another step back. So if you can't control the water, just the water itself, what if you could control the hay, the feed supply going into at least part of that animal husbandry chain there? Oh, it wasn't us. The hay was bad. Oh, no, it's all about the water. So this reclamation project right here also, again, these people have had water rights since 1905 on their properties. And then just this year, they're like, nope, it's no longer valid. We say it's no longer valid, so you have to change. So as we look here, the project area, what's that, 300, that's 340,000 acres. And they did reclaim quite a bit of this. A lot of it was underwater, swampy kind of thing. It's been reclaimed. So here's the allocation for you. So they had legislation, lots of lawsuits, and it came up, the full allocation transits, and they're talking about acre feet allotments now. So the old agreements that you had for 100 plus years are no longer valid. They just come up with new numbers like, here's your new number, here's your new number. So they got 3.5 acre feet, 3 foot acre foot, or 3 acre feet, 2.7 acre feet, or 2 acre feet. Additionally, based on your land size, anything over 1,700 acres, you get one contract which specifies 50 cubic feet per second. But here's where, you know, that sounds all good on paper. But in reality, the adjudication sets a cap on the total water available from Upper Klamath to 540,000 acre feet. So if all the contracts together and all the usage exceeds that, too bad. They're only giving you 540,000 acre feet. Maximum. Don't care what happens. There's not a drop more for y'all. Oh, but there's way drops more for data centers. Way gallons more, buckets more for data centers. You know, I had taken this and talked about this video, must have been about a week and a half ago, where AI data centers in Texas were gobbling so much water that the politicians and, you know, news had asked you, please cut back on your showers. Because the AI data center needs 463 million gallons of water, and they're cutting off our food supply by cutting off the water in these different areas. Come on, really? And now the UK, I kid you not, it started in Texas, but it's moved to the UK. UK is now asking citizens to delete old emails and photos to save water, because apparently that storage of all the data files and et cetera is taking up, well, too much water. So again, instead of taking short showers, they're telling you to delete files off of there so we don't have to hold such amount of data for storage. You see where this is going. It's not about, it's human versus machine at this point, is what it is. The machines need the same resources as we do. So if the government can give it and take it away, ye shall, as we move into this crypto world, be very, very, very extra double vigilant about self-custody with your Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other assets that you might hold. Because with all this FOMO across all the corporations in the world, there's actually 60,000 corporations that are listed on stock exchanges across the world at the moment. Only 3% of those, I'll pull it back to Wall Street, only 3% of Wall Street own Bitcoin, but 100% want Bitcoin. So the confiscation, what happened in the 30s with gold, could we come into a Bitcoin confiscation time? Of course we could. And as you can see right now, if they're willing to steal your water, which is way, 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 way more important than having Bitcoin, if they're going to steal your water and cut off your food supply, they're coming after your Bitcoin eventually. So self-custody in crypto space as well. And it's really crazy how you can blend a story of cattle ranching and self-custody of Bitcoin into the same video. That's really almost unthinkable, but it did happen. So please share this with your friends and family. Tell them what's going on in California. We need to start to save our own food supply. And if it's one region at a time, then that's what it will take. Because it is one region at a time that it's being taken offline. Step by step, copy, paste, copy, paste. It's the same that they use. So we might have to use the same and just raise awareness every time it's happening, get some eyes on it, put it under the microscope and get it to stop. And then the same thing again. So I'm very happy to use my media presence here to do this. And I'll see you next time. Hope you got something out of the video. Please remember to check out our sponsor, Perform Light, rehydration that gets in. And also every Thursday night, 10 p.m. to midnight, Ransom Godwin and myself, Rumble Civilization Cycle, bringing you 2 hours at a time with important discussions just like this. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.